Alright guys, we're going to talk about these 800 people that have been laid off by Blizzard Activision, because some of you have may heard there is a bit of a layoff situation that has happened over the past day or so. Full credit to the Quartering, who actually broke this story before anybody else yet again. This guy is actually proving to be quite a thorn in the side for mainstream journalists, but we'll get to that point in a sec. But I am obviously joined here by Satellite of Discontent, who some of you know.
Hello.
Some of you know him from my other show, where we do the news, and we're both into gaming, so we thought we'd talk about these hundreds of employees that have been laid off. If I sounded a little distracted, I'm also playing Star Citizen while doing this, so multitasking for the win. But let's jump into it. So,
I'm a little more dedicated. I'm just right here on the desktop.
Saying I'm not dedicated. Activision Blizzard lays off hundreds of employees. Publisher Activision Blizzard has begun its long-rumoured layoff process, informing employees this afternoon that it would be cutting staff. On earnings call this morning, the company said that it would eliminate 8% of its staff. In 2018, Activision had roughly 9,600 employees, meaning nearly 800 people are now out of work. Now, the Blizzard layoff, at Blizzard, the layoffs appear to only be affected non-game development departments, such as publishing, esports, both of which were expected to be hit hard. Over the last few years, many of our non-development teams expanded to support various needs, Blizzard President J. Allen Brack said in a note to staff that was obtained by Kotaku. Currently, staffing levels on some of these are out of proportion with our current release date. This means that we need to scale down some of the areas of the organisation. I'm sorry to share that we'll be parting ways with some of our colleagues in the US today. In our regional offices, we anticipate similar evacuations subject to local requirements. The letter also promised a comprehensive severance package, continued health benefits, career coaching, and job placement assistance, as well as profit sharing bonus for previous year for those who have been laid off at Blizzard. Blizzard employees receive twice yearly bonuses based on how the company performed financially. There is no way to make this transition easy for any impact employees, but we're going to do what we can to support our colleagues, Brack wrote. The news follows months of rumours about layoffs that have been coming to work with. Leading up to the. The news follows months of rumours of layoffs at the publisher, which heated up early last week as word began to spread that hundreds of people across Activision Blizzard's various divisions might lose their job. Leading up to today, some of the publisher's employees had been coming to work with no clue as to what might happen. One person at Blizzard told me this morning that as employees arrived, they cried and exchanged hugs in the carport. Last year, Kotaku reported that Blizzard's 2008 mandate had begun to cut costs and produce more games, and as a result, layoffs would likely hit company support departments, even as Blizzard continues to expand development teams. Brack's email suggests the same. Now, do we want to keep going with the rest of this? There's not much more, so let's keep going. It's critical that we prioritise product development and grow the capability of the teams doing this to best suit our players' community, he wrote. We also need to involve operationally to provide the best support for new and existing products. Meanwhile, in a press release in Investors this afternoon, Activision's CEO Bobby Kiddock wrote, "While our financial results from 2008 were the best in our history, we didn't realise our full potential. To help us reach our full potential, we have made a number of important leadership changes. These changes could enable us to achieve many opportunities of our industry affords us, especially with our powerful owned franchises. Our strong commercial capabilities, our direct digital connected to hundreds of millions of players and extraordinary talented employees. Right, so that's the article in itself. What are your thoughts, or do you want me to go first?
Oh, yeah, go first.
Alright, so on this, look, obviously it's a bad thing when people get laid off. Okay, we obviously don't like people getting laid off from their jobs, yada yada yada, right? I am less concerned about this. I'm not really worried about this, and I'm not really going to say it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm a little conflicted. Look, okay, so the people that are laid off regarding this, it's not game dev, right? It's mostly alternatives. It's mostly human resources, for example. And I'm kind of hoping that a few social justice warriors are going to get laid off with this as well. So, you know, if that's the case, then that's not such a bad thing. Don't crucify me in the comments. But, you know, like I was going to say, yeah, look, to me, this sounds like it's mostly support stuff. So, you know, people that do publishing, people that, you know, human resources. This is a lot to do with them, basically, from my understanding, just restructuring, because some of their projects have finished up and they want to go through now and, yeah, basically cut some costs. And look, obviously it's bad when Blizzard goes through and makes millions of dollars, or makes Activision literally made record profits and they're still cutting stuff. That bothers me. But I'm less worried about this than if it was game devs, for example, who make the games.
Well, do we know? Like, is there any information that tells us what kind of stuff will let go?
Yeah, so it says in the article that it's mostly publishers and support. It's not game devs.
Interesting.
It's not developers.
Have you heard the theory that they actually might be getting rid of people on a cycle? Like, they hire and fire people on a cycle, based on the development cycles of games.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, for example, if they've had a lot of games that came out, for example, just recently, like Anthem, for example, and they've done all their publishing work for that game, then they don't need all those publishers anymore.
Yeah, but it's weird to me still, like, you would fire all those people now that you don't need. Well, why not keep them? Because training is actually a very, very expensive thing. Why wouldn't you keep them around for the next project? That confuses me. And then I tend to wonder that it probably makes it, to me, and this is just my opinion, I actually think that they're doing this because of future projections are low because of the consumer backlash, and that they're projecting low sales, low profits, and of course Fallout 76 was a gigantic disaster, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Well, Fallout was done by, not by EA or Blizzard or Activision, but it was done by Ubisoft, wasn't it?
That's a Blizzard game.
Fallout.
Yeah.
You sure it's Blizzard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Hang on. Well, let me check.
No,
Maybe
Ubisoft. No, Ubisoft, I'm pretty sure. He's checking now, guys.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's actually Bethesda. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Okay.
up.
Yeah. No.
Totally cut this out from the video.
Oh hell no! I'm leaving this in. But yeah. But like I say, yeah. So it's Bethesda. Sorry, that's right. So look, at the end of the day, I even got it wrong. I thought it was
Wow. Yeah, we're supposed to be covering gaming.
Yeah, and we both got it wrong. Wow. Okay. But anyway, moving along before we dwell on this point too much. But like I say, yeah. So look, at the end of the day, I don't think it. I disagree with you on this, because at the end of the day, it's roughly what's game dev, right? 3 to 5 years at least.
Yeah.
For a game development. So for publishing,
Well, if you put the right amount of time into a game, yeah, it's about 5 years. But
yeah, 5 years
some of these
from
companies are accelerating things, and then they just sort of release now, patch later.
yeah. Well, don't get me started on that. But what I was going to say was but at the end of the day, like, and then obviously there's some companies like, for example, Squadron 42 that take longer. 5 years is generally from when we hear about it. 3 to 5 years from when we hear about it. So there's always work before then too. So my argument is that at the end of the day, these sort of long periods between game publishings, I don't think it's really worth keeping someone on for like 5 years before the next project.
So right. I get what you're trying to say there. So you don't need the publisher during the development cycle.
No.
So they're only going to hire these people for around about 6 months to a year for publishing, and then get rid of them for 5 years, and then hire another set of staff 5 years down the track. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's plausible. That's totally plausible.
That I reckon
I
is...
I can get beyond that.
Like, because they literally said in the article here, they literally said that they don't need as many publishers now. So that to me makes it seem like it's actually they've gone through, they've released, like, this is Activision and Blizzard, right?
Yeah.
So what games are coming out now? We've got Division 2, for example.
Yeah.
We've had, what else have we had released lately for for Blizzard Activision?
I'll check.
Yeah. Like, we haven't got a Call of Duty coming out anytime soon, for example.
No, I don't think so. Because they just released that a few months back.
Yeah. So they've released a lot of games lately, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's necessarily them. Look, I think they've just gone through and they've said, look, we have an extra few hundred staff members that aren't really doing anything right now. It's costing us money. We're a bunch of greedy sons of whatses. We can cut these people, make extra money, and then re-employ people as we need them.
Yeah. Well, they also did just release Diablo Immortal, and I would say that Overwatch publishing is probably well and truly over. I don't think they need to do any more promotion around that one.
No. No.
And there's going to be a StarCraft remastered,
which they wouldn't really need to publish anyway because it's a remastered. The fans are going to know about it regardless.
Yeah. And Titan, which that one's actually a bit of an older one, but yeah.
Titan. I don't know about that. I haven't even heard about that one, so the publishing probably didn't do a real good job on that one. But yeah, as I say, look, at the end of the day, it sounds like a lot of the games that they've come out with are pretty much done for now. And like, even if it's only like 6 months or so before they go through and start winding up for like E3, that there's not a lot of games coming out between now and then that they haven't already done the publishing for. So that would be my argument. It's just them just generally cutting back because they just don't need the employees anymore, which is bad for the employees, and it's a huge loss, 800 people. But to me, this is more about them just being a bunch of money shills and literally just cutting back and just saving money because they me money. But whether or not it's good or bad, well, it depends on your impression of it, I suppose.
Yeah. I think that one of the things is we are seeing on YouTube that a lot of people are really, really happy about this, because when it comes to Activision, Blizzard, EA Games, all these the main companies here, this little circle, people are going to be cheering on the demise of these companies, and honestly, I cannot feel bad for these companies at all when it comes to that angle of this, because they bloody deserve it.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I don't think it's going to be a demise of these companies per se.
No, obviously, let's be clear. Demise is going. If they were going to demise, it would probably take a decade. These companies have enough money right now. The thing is that you can't buy a reputation.
Mm.
That's my main thing. I don't care how much money these companies have, but you can't buy reputation.
No,
So,
you can't.
you know.
And look, at the end of the day, I just died in fucking Star Citizen. But what I was going to say was, and at the end of the day, I don't think. Look, they've employed more devs than ever before. They're employing more devs. They are focusing on game developing. To me, I really don't think this is going to hurt their bottom line at all. Look, their reputation's taken a bit of a hit, sure. But let's face it, fanboys are still going to buy their games. Regardless of what you think of Activision and Blizzard, you know, like The Division is still a frigging good game. You know, I still want to buy The Division. You know, I would still think about buying Anthem, regardless of how these companies have treated people. The fact of the matter is the games are still freaking good. By the way, just for clarification, obviously Ubisoft is Division 2. But you know, I'm talking about corporations in general here. They are huge soulless companies. But regardless of what they're like, I'd still buy their freaking games because they're good. So, you know, like, I really don't think this bothers them. I really don't think this is going to affect them at all.
I will say though, when it comes to the investors, Apex Legends. This is talking about EA here.
Yeah.
Apex Legends has kind of saved them a little bit.
Yes.
But oh boy, I mean, if you take a look, I mean, EA was at a point where it was the lowest it has been in ever, very recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, Activision Blizzard, well, their stock price has taken a pretty bad hit too, and I mean, this all goes together. Investors don't like this sort of thing happening.
No.
So, you know, it does wipe out a lot of money from the company. So
yeah. And look, at the end of the day, you know, I'm happy that investors in EA and Blizzard and whatnot are losing money because they're soulless and they don't care about gaming. They're just corporate whores, so to speak. So I was going to say, so at the end of the day, yeah, I don't care about them doing that. I was going to do a Google search for the stock market on EA Games stock price. I know it's taken a tumble lately. So over the past, say, 6 months. Oh no, it's actually gone up. That's over the past 5 days, sorry. Let's go, yeah, okay, so over the past 6 months, she's tumbled a bit. It was at $131 US for Electronic Arts. It is now up to $102. It was down as low as 80. So it dropped a lot. But that upcrease or that uptake, that could be because of Apex. Apex Legends is EA in it. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's EA though.
Yeah, so what about, for example, Activision? EI8. Sorry guys, I'm trying to type on the keyboard on my spare computer and I can't see the keyboard very well. I've got 2 machines here and one of the keyboards is like right up against the wall. So I can't even see what I'm typing half the time. Activision stock price is, drum roll, at the moment it's $42.82.
Ouch.
If I wind that back to not 3 months, sorry, 6 months. So if we go back 6 months, it got up as high as I'd say $83, and it's now down to about $40, so it's literally half. So yeah, not good for them. They're down about 50% as well. So stock's taking a tumble. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What do you reckon? Final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah. I hope you end up all the way down at 0.00.
For Activision.
EA, Activision, all them. I hope their stock prices all hit 0.00 and they go liquidation.
Yeah.
The world would be a better place without these soulless game publishers and developers right now. They're disgusting what they've turned the gaming industry into.
Look, obviously I don't like it when people get fired. Obviously I don't like it when people lose their jobs. But these are soulless corporations that literally they don't care about gaming. They just care about money. I would love to see
gaming
more...
is a passion.
Yeah, I would love to see more companies do the Star Citizen route, where they go through and they actually do more self-publishing. That to me is very interesting and more appealing. And I think that self-publishing does have these major corporations very worried. Because holy shit, if Star Citizen can go through, raise $42 million from private investors to publish the game, Squadron 42, why do they need them? Why do they need Activision anymore?
Well, that's the thing. I never understood this whole thing about the publishers in the first place. I mean, the argument is that it leaves the developers free to do developy work. But then the problem is that why would you go hire a middleman, right?
Yeah.
Who then this middleman turns around and starts dictating to you what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I'd be telling the guy to go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too. A lot of these game companies and that, for example, Destiny 2, they were under pressure from Activision and whatnot to go through and to actually put in certain things from what I've heard and rumors and stuff like that. They were into under not under orders but under advisement from Activision. A lot of people are blaming the loot boxes and everything in Destiny 2 and the microtransactions on Activision. It does seem to be a very Activision-y thing, if that's a word. So look, at the end of the day, and I'm glad that Bungie is now separated from these major shellless corporations and are currently going to do their own publishing. I like that. Like I said, I'm for it. And if they can make a decent run at it, as well as like Star Citizen, like I showed you the trailer for Squadron 42 the other day, and like you even turned around and said it was pretty damn near impressive. Needs work still. When you were playing the game, you said it needs work, but your impression was that it looks like a freaking movie. It looks very good.
Oh yeah. I actually want to play that.
Yeah.
It looked pretty nice.
Yeah,
I was actually impressed.
Squadron's going to be unreal.
I did knock it for like maybe you're putting too much work into the graphics, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then people want that from this.
Yeah.
People want that from Chris, so he's just doing what the market wants. But anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on these 800 people being laid off at Activision? What are your thoughts on these layoffs at Blizzard Activision? Do you think at the end of the day that it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think this is going to affect Activision in the future? Or do you think this is, like I say, this is not going to really affect the game developer, game dev or anything at the moment? Do you think this is a bit of a cash grab? Do you think that the investors are sitting there thinking, we have all these workers sitting around, they're not doing anything, so let's just fire them? And it's just a money-making scheme. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.